Very good evening, friends. Today we have the privilege of having with us CA Prakash Kukreja ji, who has developed a case study on CIRP process. Prakash Kukreja ji has been with us since quite a long time, and he is always thorough in his presentations and discussions. Very gentle communicator and very thorough in his professional approach. Over to CA Prakash Kukreja ji, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So, I think first thing I would like to start is thanking you, Gupta sir, because I think you are the real guru, and apart from being such a gentleman, so you're an amazing person. आपके लिए सर एक अलग से session करना चाहिए, only about you. But thank you so much for this opportunity. And hello everyone. So a very quick brief about myself. So I'm a qualified chartered accountant and a cost accountant, and right now working with an international bank as a vice president, market risk manager. And I have been with the corporate sector for last 20 years. So with the blessings of Gupta sir, I'm thinking to actually get into becoming an IP and doing something on my own. So with that short introduction, I'll quickly move to the presentation. I hope everybody can see my screen and I'm audible as well.
Yes, yes, yes. You're audible and visible, both. Yes.
Okay. So a quick disclaimer, sir. Though I've attempted to make this case study, but in case if there are any corrections or any anomalies which you can find, do let me know. I can accordingly update and resend it. So we'll start here. Yeah. So this is the background. I'll just read out loud for everyone. ABC Private Limited availed a loan in Jan 2018 against an asset from Good Bank under the scheme Good Bank Mortgage Loan Scheme. As per the scheme, the borrower, which was ABC Private Limited, had to create a charge by way of exclusive mortgage of an unencumbered asset held in its name to be treated as security against the loan. The loan was declared as NPA on 1st December 2018. As a consequence, Good Bank initiated proceedings under the SARFAESI Act 2002 to take physical possession under Section 13, subsection 4 of SARFAESI Act 2002. It is informed that the procedure for obtaining physical possession was duly completed by issuing a notice under Section 13, subsection 2 of SARFAESI Act, and on lapse of 60 days, a notice under Section 13(4) of the said Act for taking over the possession. Physical possession was taken over on 13th February 2019. On 25th Feb 2019, Better Bank filed an application with NCLT under Section 7 of IBC against ABC Private Limited. Application was admitted on 19th March 2019 and an IRP was appointed. Moratorium under Section 14 of the IBC also commenced therefrom. Good Bank filed an application before the NCLT seeking an interim order to restrain the IRP from demanding custody of the asset, which was in its physical possession pursuant to its SARFAESI action. So basically, the asset which was already as a security interest with the Good Bank, that was already in the physical possession of the Good Bank as per the point number 2. The next point number 5, relying on the Supreme Court decision in Transco versus Union of India 2008, Good Bank pleaded that once it had taken possession of the secured asset, then all rights, title, etc. in the asset stood vested with Good Bank. The NCLT, however, observed that the Supreme Court held in the Transco judgment that the rights in the asset can be dealt with by a financial institution as it is the owner of the asset, and word as if denote deemed ownership and not actual ownership. So to summarize, Good Bank has already marked this asset as NPA. They took over the physical possession of the asset. Then Better Bank applied for a CIRP under Section 7, which was admitted. Moratorium is already started. And IRP approached Good Bank to give back the possession, but eventually Good Bank content saying that because they have already taken the physical position again, due to on account of SURFACE action, so they should not be handing over the position. And they actually relied on the Supreme Court case. And but again, Good Bank pleaded that because the position is with them, so they have all the rights title. And then again, NCLT came back and said that as per the judgment in Transco, it is a as if position, means it's a deemed ownership. So this is the background. And what I've done is some of the part of this background I have covered in the MCQs also. So I'll move to the MCQs. Yeah. So the first question is under section 7 of IBC, where an applicant, financial creditor, initiates CRP against a CD, it should be only related to the default related to that particular applicant. These are the options. And I would request everyone to actually start answering. Yeah, so Nehaji is saying no, which is C, okay. I think everybody knows about this answer. So this was very straightforward and simple. Okay, yeah. The answer is C. Section 7 under section 1 clearly states that the default includes a default in respect of financial debt owned not only to the applicant financial creditor, but to any other financial creditor of the corporate debt. So we'll move on to the next slide then. NCLT in this case should have admitted the CIRP application of Better Bank, should not have admitted the CIRP application of Better Bank, because Good Bank had already claimed their charge on the security interest. So I purposely added this question just to trying to confuse everyone. Let's see what are the response. So the first option is correct. NCLT should not have admitted the CRP. Second is no. Case study has not provided any specific information about default related to Better Bank. Perhaps if NCLT has admitted the application, which means it has taken cognizance of the existence of default to Better Bank or any other financial creditor. Option C is correct. Good Bank should challenge the admission of CRP. Most of the answers are B. So Sony sir is saying D, okay. I'll wait for 30 more seconds for others to answer. Please feel free to answer even if it is wrong. I think that it's all process of learning, so feel free. Okay, so
केस स्टडी भी आप एक बार शुरू से, क्योंकि some people joined late, तो हो सकता है उनको केस स्टडी भी ना. हाँ हाँ,
श्योर सर, मैं फिर से केस स्टडी
इस क्वेश्चन के बाद ना, हाँ एक बार दोबारा से. हाँ जी,
श्योर ठीक है. तो सर एक बार फिर से पढ़ लेता हूँ. ABC Private Limited availed a loan in Jan 2018 against asset from Good Bank under the scheme of Good Bank Mortgage Loan Scheme. As per the scheme, the borrower, which is ABC Limited, had to create a charge by way of exclusive mortgage of an unencumbered asset held in its name and to be treated as a security against the loan. The loan was declared as NP on 1st December 2018. As a consequence, Good Bank initiated proceedings under the SURFACE Act to take physical possession under Section 13, subsection 4. It is informed that the procedure for obtaining physical possession was duly completed by issuing a notice under Section 13, subsection 2, and on lapse of 60 days, a notice under Section 13 of the said Act for taking over the possession. Physical possession was taken over on 13th Feb 2019, which means now the Good Bank has the possession of that asset under which it had given the loan to ABC Limited. Then on 25th Feb 2019, Better Bank, this is the another bank, filed an application with NCLT under Section 7 of the IBC against ABC Limited, Private Limited. Application was admitted on 19th March 2019 and an IRP was appointed. Moratorium under Section 14 of IBC also commenced therefrom. Good Bank, now after this what happened is eventually IRP started approaching Good Bank to give back the possession of that particular asset, which was in their possession. But Good Bank filed an application before the NCLT seeking an interim order to restrain the IRP from demanding custody of the asset, which was in its physical possession pursuant to SARFAESI action. Then, relying on Supreme Court's decision in Transco versus Union of India 2008, Good Bank also pleaded that once it had taken the possession of secured asset, then all the rights, title, etc. in the asset stood vest with the Good Bank. So basically, Good Bank's contention is that as per SARFAESI, they have already taken the physical possession, number one, and as per the Supreme Court judgment in Transco versus Union of India, as per that, it is very clear that if a secured asset is in the possession of the lender, then all the rights, title, etc., everything is with the lender. So nobody can actually challenge that part. But however, NCLT, they observed that Supreme Court in the same case, which is Transco judgment, said that the rights in the asset can be dealt with by financial institution as if it is the owner of the asset. Now, there is a word called as if. Hence, the words as if denote deemed ownership and not actual ownership. So that creates a kind of a contention where Good Bank can be challenged that it is not the final owner of that particular asset. So with that, I'll move to the next slide, which is MCQs. Yeah. So the first question, which I think most of you have answered, was under Section 7 IBC, when an applicant financial creditor initiates a CIRP against a corporate debtor, it should be only related to the default related to that particular applicant. And these are the options. Yes, default should be with respect to financial debt owned by the CD to that particular applicant. Second is yes, since the applicant needs to prove to adjudicating authority that the default has occurred to the applicant, that is the financial creditor who is the applicant. Option C is no. A default includes a default in respect of financial debt owed not only to the applicant but to any other financial creditor of the corporate debtor. And the fourth option is act as silent of the above. So I think most of them have already answered. The answer is C. In case if anybody has a question, we can take it, or I can move to the next slide. Yeah, so the answer is C over here. Section 7.1 clearly states that the default includes the default in respect of financial debt owed not only to the applicant financial creditor, but to any other financial creditor of the corporate debtor. So I think it's very clear. It's a very simple question. So I'll move to the question number 2. NCLT in this case should have not admitted the CIRP application of Better Bank. So if you go back to, I'll just go back to the case study here. So if you see here, which is point number 3, on 25th Feb 2019, Better Bank filed an application to NCLT under subsection 7, under section 7, of IBC, and it was admitted. So CIRP was already initiated for ABC Limited, and IRP was also appointed. Moratorium also started. So here in MCQ number 2, the point is that since the asset was already under the possession of Good Bank, number 1, and there is no other default which is mentioned in the case study. So is it tenable that the Better Bank, the application of Better Bank is tenable, or it should be admitted or should not be admitted? So these are the options. Correct, NCLT should not have admitted the CIRP. Option number B is no. Case study has not provided any specific information about default related to Better Bank. Perhaps if NCLT has admitted the application, which means it has taken cognizance of existence of default to Better Bank or any other financial creditor. Option C is correct. Good Bank should challenge the admission of CIRP, and option D is none of the above. So anybody wants to take a chance? Yeah. Siddharth ji is saying B. Okay. Okay, one more answer for B. Okay, so the correct answer is B. I think it's very obvious that if educating authority has admitted the application of better bank, they would have definitely taken into account that there is a default in place. And if you look at the case about default for of better bank, so that was purposely done so that there is a clarity that there could be a chance that a default could be related to any other financial creditor, not only the good bank. So Manju ji is giving some additional information. It's RCM Infra case of 2080 of 2020. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Manju ji. So I'll move to MCQ number 3. Now here what I have done is there is the extract from the case study so that we don't go back to the slide. The extract is in transfer judgment that the rights in the asset can be dealt with by a financial institution as if it is the owner of the asset, and the words as if denotes deemed ownership and not actual ownership. So with the reference of this extract, IRP stated that though the asset is in physical possession of good bank as a deemed owner, but since it is still reflecting as an asset in the balance sheet of ABC Limited, therefore IRP is bound to take control and custody of such asset. These are the options. First is IRP is right. He is bound to take control and custody of any asset over which the corporate debtor has ownership rights as recorded in the balance sheet, including assets not in possession of ABC Limited. No, since the asset has already in possession of Good Bank before CIRP was admitted, IRP cannot claim the asset from Good Bank. Third is no, Good Bank has already rightly claimed the possession of the asset under SARFAESI Act, whereas CIRP was initiated under IBC. Hence, two laws being not interdependent, IRP cannot claim possession of the asset. And the fourth is IRP should reach out to educating authority based on the direction received from educating authority. It should take a stance. I think most of the answers are A. Anybody having a different answer? Okay. I think everybody is very smart. Gupta sir, आपके सारे students सर पास होने वाले हैं बहुत जल्द. So I think everybody is giving right answers.
ये मेरे टीचर है
Great.
सारे.
So
आप स्टूडेंट गलत बोल रहे हो. क्या है, मैं ये क्वेश्चन पूछते तो मैं पढ़ता हूँ किताब में. तो दे आर ऑल माय टीचर्स, नॉट माय स्टूडेंट्स.
okay. So in the current case, yes, the asset is still reflecting in the balance sheet of ABC Limited. Hence, as per the duties of the interim resolution professional and under section 18F, the IRP is bound to claim the possession of the asset. तो यहाँ पे एक बात क्लियर है कि despite under SARFAESI Act, the possession is with the good bank, but they will have to return back to the IRP. Okay. Next on the same extract.
सर ये गुड बैंक के साथ नाइंसाफी नहीं हो गई क्या?
Sorry.
सर गुड बैंक के साथ नाइंसाफी नहीं हो गई क्या?
हाँ डेफिनेटली हुई है, पर अभी वो एक्ट के हिसाब से ही चलना पड़ेगा मैडम. Extract NCLT dismiss good. Okay, so with reference to above extract, NCLT dismissed Good Bank's petition and order to hand over the possession of the asset to IRP. Good Bank challenged NCLT and IRP's contention of giving back the possession. ये झगड़ा और लंबा चला इसका मतलब. As ABC Limit was under moratorium period. Now अभी Good Bank जो है वो अलग तरीका अपना रहा है, अलग मेथड अपना रहा है. Was under moratorium period as per section 14, and educating authority should prohibit only pending suits proceedings, whereas in case of this specific asset, there are no pending suits and proceedings for this specific asset, but already completed. तो यहाँ पे एक्चुअली सरफेसी के अंडर जो पूरा ट्रांजैक्शन था वो कंप्लीट हो चुका था, बट एज पर सेक्शन 7 हमने देख लिया, फिर उसके बाद हमने वो ट्रांसपोर्ट का भी केस देख लिया, बट नाउ गुड बैंक इज सेइंग कि सेक्शन 14 के हिसाब से एनसीएलटी को नहीं करना चाहिए, बिकॉज मोराटोरियम में the only proceedings or suits which are pending, they can be actually holded back. So I think everybody would know the answer for this, obviously. So the first option is good bank is right. Moratorium under section 14 is only for ongoing pending suits and proceedings. So this is a second is this is a question of applicability of law. Good bank has an option and appeal with NCLAT, and C is for section 14 of the code. Adjudicating authority has a power to prohibit all the ongoing pending suits and proceedings, including any action to foreclose, recover, or enforce any security interest. So I think I've got two answers so far. One is D and second is C. Anybody else? Okay, so Sony sir is saying D. C, okay. So between C and D. Sony sir, if I ask you, why do you think it is D?
Sir, because if we see, yes, the Sarfasi possession happened, so the action completed. But on the other hand, as per uh, the law and the section, if it is completed, then the possession should not have been taken according to good bank. So they have an option to get this interpretation of law getting verified from NCLAT. So that's the reason.
I'll just, yeah. No, I mean, that's a good point, but I'll just correct one thing over here. The possession of the asset by Good Bank was taken much before the CIRP was initiated. So if I give you that input, will your answer change?
So still there is nothing of litigation. So the possession taken over by Good Bank, and they have the possession now. Whatever they are supposed to do, they will do that. So as per section 14, there is no litigation left in between on that particular asset.
Correct. But as per section 14, I think the power what the educating authority has to prohibit only the ongoing and pending suits, right, or proceedings, and this is already completed. So I'm just thinking aloud and sharing this view. Like, do you think it is right to actually does the AA has the power to ask the
Sir, in my view, section 14A states that including execution of any judgment, decree or order. इसका कुछ relevance आएगा सर यहाँ पे?
Execution of decree and order. So I think अगर आप उसको पूरा पढ़ेंगे, if I understand, I think it is there is one thing which is emphasized very clearly is that it should be pending. That's what I understand.
Pending suits or proceedings against a
The institution,
including execution
yeah,
of any judgment, decree or order in any court of law, tribunal, arbitration panel or other authority.
or authority.
सर इसमें फॉल नहीं होगा क्या?
इसमें भी होगा, और आप अगर 14C पढ़ेंगे, that is more clear. So I think यहाँ पे answer D is right, because see ultimately what happens is Good Bank always has an option to go back and challenge or appeal against NCLT. So that anyway, वो तो I think it's a fundamental right, they want to do that. So obviously in terms of point number B, yes, they have an option, but point number C, if you read section 14C, it says that AA can prohibit including any action to foreclose, recover, or enforce any security interest created by the corporate debtor in respect of its property, including any action under SURFACE. तो यहाँ पर भले ही SURFACE के अंडर they have already taken the position, but IRP has all the rights to ask back that asset, number one, despite it is within moratorium. And एक बहुत important बात यहाँ पे ये है that the asset, the ownership of the asset is still with ABC limit because it is still getting reflected in their balance sheet. Now the possession is with Good Bank, that is a separate aspect. So in this case, ownership has not transferred yet. So which means IRP can actually ask Good Bank to give back the possession of that asset.
सर सपोज उसकी बैलेंस शीट में नहीं
I hope
दिखता
it is
तो
clear.
सर सपोज उसकी
तो
बैलेंस
अगर
शीट में
फिर
नहीं
बैलेंस
दिखता
शीट में नहीं दिखता है ना, उनके पास ओनरशिप ही नहीं. हाँ, अगर बैलेंस शीट में नहीं है तो फिर ओनरशिप नहीं है ना. फिर उस हिसाब से अगर IRP के एंगल से आप देखोगे, so one of the basic reference for them is the balance sheet. If the asset is not getting reflected in the balance sheet, then they cannot take the possession of that, right? So which means the transaction of transfer, no, they cannot. They cannot. Absolutely not.
So that is the moot point that is showing in the balance sheet of the CD.
Exactly. Exactly. That is a moot point. You're right.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else having any other question on this? Okay. We'll move to the next question. Again, there is an extract from the case study. Relying on the Supreme Court's decision in Transport versus Union of India 2008, Good Bank pleaded that once it has taken the possession of secured asset, then all the rights title of asset stood vested in the bank. Now, Good Bank appealed against the NCLT order for incl. In a way, actually, I've answered this question this in the previous, but still, we'll go ahead with this. The incl distinguished the Transcourt judgment stating it was rendered prior to existence of IBC. Hence, IBC will prevail over SURFACE and Good Bank should hand over the possession of the asset to IRP. First option, Good Bank should appeal to High Court and then to Supreme Court as its contention is tenable under IBC Act. Even if Good Bank, option number 2, even if Good Bank approaches High Court and later to Supreme Court, NCLAT order would be upheld because provision of IBC will have an override effect. Option C, Good Bank's contention is right. It should not hand over the possession of the asset to IRP. And the option number D is need more information. I think, yeah. B. Anybody else with a different answer? Okay. So idea to cover this question was to highlight the section 238. So this is a very important section, and I think we have many case laws on this also. So section 238 clearly states the provision of this code shall have effect, notwithstanding anything inconsistent therewith contained in any other law for the time being in force, or any instrument having effect by virtue of such law. So I think IBC, I mean, we have referred multiple cases before where section 238 makes it very clear that IBC will, most of the cases, it will prevail. So basis that, I think answer B is absolutely right. Even if Good Bank approaches High Court or Supreme Court, I think it's very clear that whenever there is a conflict between two acts, IBC will prevail. Okay. I'll move to the next question. Number 6. Now, this question is little generic than the case study, but it is again with a reference to section 238. Which of the following landmark judgments by Honorable Supreme Court it was held that non-obstinate clause, section 238 of the IBC, would override anything inconsistent in any other enactment? Innovative Industries versus ICI, Pioneer Urban Land and Infrastructure, K. Kishan versus Vijay Nirman, or all of them. So DA, okay. I think most of the answers are A. Anybody else wants to attempt A? Okay. Okay. So most of them are saying A. Now what I'll do is, just for the benefit of everyone, I'll just summarize about each and every case and how section 238 is related. So if you look at innovative industries, in case of innovative industries, Maharashtra Relief Undertaking Special Provision Act 1958 cannot stand in the way of CIRP under the code. So answer A is right. Now, if I look at Pioneer Urban Land and Infrastructure Limited, over there, even by a process of harmonious construction, the Real Estate Regulation and Development Act 2016 and the code must be held to coexist. And in the event of a conflict, the code shall prevail. So which means Pioneer Urban Land is also covering the same aspect of section 238. And number 3, which is K. Kishan, yeah. So K. Kishan versus Vijay Nirman. In this, section 238 of the code will prevail in case there is an inconsistency between the code and the Arbitration and the Conciliation Act 1996. So which means all these 3 case laws basically highlight that section 238 would always prevail if there is any conflict with any other act. So I think we had somebody who was given the right answer, right? Prince Sony. Oh yeah, I think he has given the right answer. Great. Anybody has any questions on this before I move to the next slide? So in a way, if you see innovative industries covering Maharashtra Relief Undertaking Act, Pioneer Urban is covering RERA, and K. Kishan and Vijay Nirman is covering Arbitration and Conciliation Act. So all these 3 acts, as per this section 238, in that case, IBC will prevail over all of them. Okay. Next question. So assuming there is a failure of the resolution process and liquidation of ABC Private Limited has been initiated, can Good Bank regain the right to enforce its secured assets independently? I hope the question is very simple, and here are the options. Option number A, no, it's at the discretion of the liquidator. B, no, discretion of adjudicating authority. C, till that time the asset would have negligible value and hence does not make any difference even if the good bank regains the right. And the last option is yes. So I suppose the first, question number 7, answer is D. Okay. Prince Sony is saying D. Neha Kedia D. Amit, yes, D. Okay. Anybody having? Siddharth ji is saying B. No, it's at the display. Okay. D. Okay. So basically what happens is when ABC Limited goes under liquidation, so there is a specific section which highlights that how the assets, or I think the waterfall mechanism, it's covered in that as well, how the proceeds of those assets will be distributed. So I'm just giving a hint. I think most of you have got the right answer. So yes. In terms of section 52, yes. Good bank can regain the right to enforce, which means now the possession of that asset is with good bank, and now it will have the option to sell that asset, or they can do whatever they want, and they can of course follow the process as per the regulations and the code, informing the liquidator and so on. So those all things should be taken care of. But yes, good bank will have the option to enforce the security asset independently. Okay, anybody having any other question before I move to the next slide? So I think largely case study is done, but what I did is I have just added a couple of more clarifications, and that is related to fast track process. So yeah, so before I go here, case study is done. In case if anybody wants to revisit any specific question, ask any specific thing, we can discuss that before I move to the another section where the focus is on fast track process. I just have two clarifications, and honestly, even I don't have the answer for that. I thought I'll discuss in the group, and maybe then we can jointly have a consensus on that. So anybody having any other questions, clarifications on the case study? Okay, so I'll take that as no. Gupta sir, you want to add anything? Okay, so this is another additional part which I've added. While reading this fast track CIRP regulation, there was a clarification which I had in my mind. So if you look at regulation 20 sub-regulation 7 related to service of notice by electronic means, it says if a creditor other than the COC member fails to provide or update relevant email address to the resolution professional, non-receipt of such notice by such participant of any meeting shall not invalidate the decision taken at such meeting, which means a financial creditor or any creditor who has not provided the right email address, and because of which this creditor has not received any notice for the meeting, but the COC meeting happened, and the regulation says that it will not invalidate the decision of that meeting. Now the question here is, does this mean that in case of an incorrect email address provided by a COC member, so do note that I am referring to the COC member, to the RP meeting notice will not be received by the COC member. Hence, will this situation invalidate the decision taken by the COC because this member was absent in the meeting? So most of the answers are no. Can anyone also explain, I mean, more in detail why no? Maybe adding some more perspective to this. Manju ma'am is saying yes. Okay, so Prince sir saying, do I retain proof of send? So here the point is not that the RP has not sent the email. Obviously, even if RP sends a mail on email address of a COC member, and if he gets a, what happens is if you send a wrong to a wrong address, you get the email back that it was not delivered. You get that notice of undelivered email. So that can be retained. But here the point is that the particular creditor is a COC member, but because his email address was incorrect, so he or she hasn't received the invite, and hence the decision taken by COC should be validated or invalidated. RP has to demonstrate that he tried to send, which is right. So I think the conclusion here is that it will not invalidate the decision taken by such meeting, because RP can always demonstrate or prove that he had sent the email to the respective COC member, but it was undelivered because of the wrong email address. Okay, now I'll just twist this question a little bit. No, I think that's, let's say there are only two creditors, but again, in that case, RP will always try to reach out with some other way, maybe call him or do something else, but definitely that will not prevail. So fine. The email address is provided by COC member, the owner's, yeah, that is correct. the onus will always be on the COC member. But the point here, what I was trying to highlight is that if the email address is incorrect, it is obviously the onus is not on RP, but what if the meeting went on and the decision was taken? So, but I think the consensus is that it will not invalidate the decision of the meeting. Okay, fair enough. Then I'll move to number 2, same on fast track CIRP. As per regulation 22 sub-regulation 1, COC meeting quorum requirement is 33%, but COC has the power to modify the percentage of voting rights required for any future COC meeting. So can COC decide to reduce the quorum to less than 33%? So Neha ji is saying no, they cannot. COC cannot override IBC. Okay. The regulation 20 subsection 7 is relevant. Yes. I'm sorry, I'm slightly the word is at least 33%. Okay. Requirement is 33%. Okay. Yeah, thanks for correcting that. So it is at least 33%. Okay. So basically the consensus is that COC has the power to modify, but yes, it cannot go beyond the code and it should be at least 33%. Okay. Okay, I think this was good. Anybody has any other clarification on fast track CIRP? Anybody would like to discuss any other point? Okay, great. So thank you so much, everyone. Very interesting session. Gupta sir, we are done. Back to you. I think जल्दी हो गया ये.
सर एक ओवरव्यू दीजिए ना फास्ट ट्रैक सीआरपी का.
Sure. So फास्ट ट्रैक CIRP और नॉर्मल CIRP का जो डिफरेंस है मैं उसको हाईलाइट करता हूँ. Just give me 1 minute. I'll just highlight few of the key points. इसमें एक पॉइंट है which is on public announcement. So it says that insolvency professional shall make public announcement immediately on his appointment, which immediately basically means that not later than 3 days, and it should be done in Form A. Something which is very important about here is that the applicant will bear the expenses of public announcement, which may be reimbursed by COC to the extent it is ratified. I think we have discussed this when Chetwani sir took the class. I just thought I'll highlight again because these expenses on the public announcement should not form part of fast track process cost. So the interesting point here is that public announcement, the cost first is borne by the applicant. Applicant has to get it ratified by the COC and then get a reimbursement. Whereas in case of normal CIRP, I think this public announcement is also a part of CIRP cost. But in case of fast track, the expense on public announcement will not be part of the fast track process cost. So this was one very interesting point.
सर CIRP में भी नहीं है ये फास्ट ये IRP CIRP कॉस्ट में नहीं आता ये.
Is it? I think उसमें CIRP में आता है, right?
नहीं सर नहीं आता है. एक मिनट.
मैं भी check करता हूँ because what I understood is that it is part of the CIRP cost. अच्छा, normal CIRP में it says that applicant shall bear the expenses of the
Yes.
public announcement which may be reimbursed by the COC to the extent ratified. I think you're right, but
Yes.
इसमें कुछ लिखा नहीं है कि it will be part of CIRP cost or not.
सर
But I think you're right. So
CIRP
ये तो
कॉस्ट
नहीं
में लिखा
आएगा
हुआ
इसमें.
है सर, CIRP कॉस्ट में लिखा हुआ है. आई टेल यू द रेगुलेशन.
Yeah, sure. Regulation 31. इसमें लिखा हुआ नहीं है मैम.
नहीं सर, CIRP कॉस्ट जहाँ पे है ना वहाँ पे है. कौन से रेगुलेशन में है इसमें?
मैं CIRP के रेगुलेशंस में हूँ. चैप्टर 9 इंसॉल्वेंसी रेजोल्यूशन प्रोसेस कॉस्ट, रेगुलेशन नंबर 31.
31 में. अच्छा हाँ, तो सर इसमें इंक्लूड नहीं है ना वो.
अच्छा, so you're saying that हाँ, you're right. Correct. एक बार देखता हूँ और एक चीज है. I think there is one case which I had shared in today's chat. Let me see if I have that file open. मैं अपने स्क्रीन पे शेयर करता हूँ. ये देखिए. This is also related to fast track process. And first, let me read out the regulation. This is based on committee of creditors and calculation of total debt. So regulation 16 of fast track CRP says committee with only operational creditors.
सर आपने स्क्रीन शेयर करी है क्या?
हाँ, मेरा स्क्रीन शेयर हुआ है.
नहीं सर, स्क्रीन चेंज नहीं हुई है आपकी.
Okay, 1 second. अभी बताइए, अभी दिख रही है?
Yes sir, now visible.
Yeah. Sorry, 1 second. It's visible, right?
Right sir, now it is visible.
Okay, thank you. So regulation 16 of fast track CRP says committee with only operational creditors. मतलब जहाँ पे financial creditor नहीं है और सिर्फ operational creditors हैं. So it says where the corporate debtor has no financial debt or whether all the financial creditors are related parties of the corporate debtor, the committee shall be set up in accordance with this regulation. So two aspects. One is there is no financial debt, यानी financial creditors नहीं है. Second possibility, जहाँ पे financial creditors हैं, but they are relatives. So the way COC will be set up will be as per this regulation. So it says committee formed under this regulation shall consist of following members. Number 18 largest operational creditors by value, provided that if the number of operational creditors is less than 18, the committee shall include all such operational creditors. I think it's very clear. जहाँ पे 18 से ज़्यादा होंगे, it will be only the large 18, otherwise all of them. Point number B is one representative elected by all workmen other than those workmen included under subclause A. Other than those, which means if any workman is not included as part of operational creditor, then one representative for all these workmen will be part of the COC. Point number C, one representative elected by all employees other than those employees included under subclause A. Same thing, the way we read for workmen, same thing for employees. So if it is not included in subclause A, the operational creditors, then there will be one representative which will represent all the other employees. Now, sub-regulation 3, which says every member of the committee formed under this regulation shall have voting rights in proportion of the debt due to such creditor or debt represented by such representative as the case may be to the total debt. Now, this sub-regulation 3 is basically trying to say that how would you decide the voting rights based on the amount of debt. Now, how would you calculate the debt? So for that, there's an explanation. Like for the purpose of this sub-regulation, total debt means a sum of amount of debt due to creditors listed in sub-regulation 2A. So 2A means 18 largest operational creditors by value. B, amount of aggregate debt due to workmen under sub-regulation 2B, straightforward, understood. Amount of C is amount of aggregate debt due to employees under sub-regulation 2C. That is also straightforward, understood. Whatever due to the workmen and to the employees will be, which means the total debt will be calculated after you add the debt for operational creditors, workmen and employees. Now the important point over here, if you see 3A, it says amount of debt due to creditors listed in sub-regulation A, 2A, which means hypothetically, if the, as an example, okay, let me show this case study, then I think it'll be more clear. So here what I've done is a simple scenario. ABC Private Limited, which is undergoing a fast track CIRP, has a total debt of rupees 100 crores, out of which 75 crores is due to operational creditors and 25 crores is due to workmen plus employee. What would constitute total debt in three different scenarios below when read with regulation 16.2a and 16.3a. So these are the three scenarios. First scenario, where operational creditors debt is 75 crores, we have only 15 operational creditors and workmen plus employee. So obviously you will have only 2 representatives. So which is understood, 15 plus 2. So total number of COC members would be 17 and total debt, I think it is straightforward, 100 crores, 75 plus 25. Scenario number 2. Number of operational creditors are 18. And obviously workmen and employee continue to be 2. So 18 plus 2, you'll have 20 as COC members and total debt would be 100 crores. Now in scenario 3, let's say, for example, we have total 50 operational creditors in numbers, with top 18 representing rupees 50 crores. So the total debt for operational creditors is 75 crores, but top 18 are representing 50 crores, which means the balance 32 operational creditors are having a debt of approximately another 25 crores. Workman employee, same status quo, which means if you look at the COC members, it will remain 20 because 18 plus 20. But the question here is what would be the total debt to decide the voting rights? Would it be 100 or would it be 75?
Explain again the scenario 3.
Yeah. So in case of scenario 3, what is happening is the number of operational creditors are 50, which is more than 18, 1. So, and there is a split. So in this 15 operational creditors, top 18 are having a total debt of rupees 50 crores. The balance 32 operational creditors are having a debt of 25 crores. Now what happens is when you calculate the total debt as per regulation 16.3a, I'll just go back to the regulation. If you see here, it says, for the purpose of this sub-regulation, the total debt means the sum of amount of the debt due to the creditors listed in sub-regulation 2A. If you go to sub-regulation 2A, it says 18 largest operational creditors by value, provided that if the number of operational creditors is less than 18, the committee shall include all such operational creditors. But in this scenario, the number is more than 18. So the question is, what about the debt relating to those 32 operational creditors, which are more than 18? Will that form part of total debt or not? That is the question. Is it clear, ma'am? Or maybe if you want, I can explain again.
Yes, it's clear, sir.
Okay.
The total debt is defined under subclause 3.
Yeah, that is 16.3a.
Yeah.
Here.
It means 75 only.
So which means they will actually exclude the other operational creditors. So
Yes.
total debt would reduce to 75, not 100.
Yes, yes, sir.
So which means when they are going to work on a resolution plan, then total debt would be 75 or 100.
As per the definition, it will be 75, but it should not be.
Prince Sony sir is saying COC 75. Okay. For resolution 100. Amit, okay.
Yes. That is for the constitution of the COC.
Correct. Correct. So that is the right answer. What Prince Sony, Amit, and I think others have also given the same answer. So when they are going to constitute the COC, the number of members, that time the total debt under scenario 3 will be 75. And hence we'll have 20 members, basis which they will give the voting rights to these 20 members. But when the resolution plan is getting prepared, the debt would not be 75, it will be the total debt, which is 100. Because IBC code, one of the basic objective is covering all the, I'm not able to recall the right word, but basically they are trying to be fair to all the creditors, which includes operational creditors and financial creditors and other creditors also. So in this case, if they reduce the total debt to 75 in the resolution plan, that will defeat the purpose of the act. So that way, the answer is for resolution plan, it would be 100 crores, but for scenario 3, it will be 75 crores.
Sir, please repeat last
I hope
line,
that,
please.
yeah. So what I was trying to say, yeah. So what I was trying to say is that, yeah. So when they are forming the COC, the number of members that is based on the total debt. The calculation of total debt over here, as per regulation 16.3, will be based on top 18 operational creditors, which is 50 crores in this case. And workman plus employee will be 25, which means when they want to give voting rights to the COC, the total debt would be 75 crores. But when they are preparing the resolution plan, they will not reduce this 75 crore from 100 to 75, because it's a basic objective of IBC to be fair to all the creditors, including operational creditors. Hence, reducing the debt to 75 will defeat the purpose of that. So resolution plan, total debt 100 crores, but voting right for COC formation is 75 crores. Correct. Total debt under regulation 16 is for deciding COC and their voting share, but not for resolution plan. Yes. Is that clear? Or you want me to repeat?
Very clear, sir.
Great. Anybody having any other questions? Maybe what I'll do is I'll prepare some write-up on fast track process, and I'll share this. One thing which I recently came across regarding this fast track process, I'll tell you what I'm referring to. I'm referring to regulation number 17, which is called filings of IRP. So let me read out aloud for everyone. It says the IRP shall file a report certifying the constitution of the committee to the educating authority on or before expiry of 21 days from the date of appointment. So basically the COC has been constituted. So IRP needs to communicate the same thing to educating authority. Okay, now this is important. So based on records of the corporate debtor and claims, if the IRP is the opinion that fast track process is not applicable to the corporate debtor as per notification under section 52 subsection 2, he shall file an application to the educating authority along with the report in subregulation 1 to pass an order converting the fast track CIRP to a normal CIRP. So this means the onus, whether the applicability of fast track CIRP is there or not, it is on the IRP. And IRP has to do this while filing the COC, the constitution of COC with the educating authority. So this is a very important point. And now if you just dig a little deeper into this, section 55 subsection 2, just to highlight, now I am going into what is the applicability of the fast track process. So the section 55 subsection 2 reads that an applicant for fast track corporate insolvency resolution process may be made in respect of the following corporate debtors. 1. Corporate debtor with asset and income below a level as may be notified by the central government. So I think this we already discussed in the last class when Chatwani sir took the class. I'm just reiterating. And if you read section 285 of the Companies Act, it says small company under section 285 is one which would be part of this fast track process. Second is startup other than partnership firm as defined in Ministry of Commerce and Industry notification. And C is unlisted company with total asset not exceeding rupees 1 crore as per financial statement immediately preceding the financial year. So these three type of companies will be eligible to undergo a fast track CIRP. And just to add another point over here, now I'm going back to the regulation where filing of IRP. So first point we covered about the constitutional COC needs to be filed with adjudicating authority in 21 days. Second, IRP needs to confirm whether applicability of fast track CIRP is there or not. And third is, if the adjudicating authority passes an order converting the fast track to a normal CIRP. Now the situation is where, because the corporate debtor is not applicable for a fast track, and adjudicating authority has confirmed that yes, now they should move to a normal CIRP, and application under subregulation 2, the process shall be carried on in accordance with the CIRP process. So now the applicability of fast track will not be applicable to the corporate debtor. They'll have to switch to the regulations for normal CIRP. And interim resolution professional shall convene the first meeting of the committee within 7 days of the filing of the report under regulation. So which means after the committee has been formed, adjudicating authority has been informed, IRP has confirmed whether the applicability of fast track to this corporate debtor is there or not, accordingly has notified the adjudicating authority. Then the IRP should convey the first meeting of the committee within 7 days after filing the report with the adjudicating authority.
So which report it is talking?
It is about filing, because IRP has to file the details about the COC, right? Once it is formed with the adjudicating authority. So this regulation is covering that. IRP also needs to check whether the applicability of fast track process is there or not. And it should inform the adjudicating authority along with COC.
That is
regulation.
Regulation 4 is talking about filing the report under this regulation.
No, ma'am. No. I am referring to fast track CIRP.
Yes. Fast track CIRP.
And this is regulation number 17.
Subsection 4.
Yeah.
The IRP shall convene the first meeting of COC within 7 days of filing the report under this regulation. So it is talking about which report?
The report which is under sub-regulation 1. If you read the sub-regulation 1, it says IRP shall file a report certifying the constitution of the committee to the adjudicating authority on or before the expiry of 21 days from the date of his appointment. And regulation sub-regulation 2 is covering the applicability of fast track.
Sir, but after constitution of the COC, if that is converted from fast track to CIRP, normal CIRP, it will take time. Application to the adjudicating authority and decision of the adjudicating authority, it will take time more than 7 days.
They haven't mentioned any time over here by when the adjudicating authority should come back. I don't think so they have mentioned, but what they're trying to say is that the professionals should convey the first meeting of committee within 7 days of the filing of the report. So in this case, I think once it moves to the normal CIRP, the timelines will change. Now let's assume that it is not moving to the normal CIRP, it is a fast track CIRP, which means then the IRP need to convey the first meeting within the 7 days of the circuit.
That is all right.
That is what it says.
That is all right. But
Yeah.
if it is converted into normal CIRP,
You are right.
in that
Sir,
situation,
sorry to interrupt. So sorry to interrupt, sir, but if in case, sir, it's converted to normal CIRP also, there also the provision is same that within 7 days we need to hold a meeting of COC. So how will it make any difference whether it is converted or not, approved by the AOC, by the adjudicating authority? They can still they can hold their first meeting.
So which means even if it is fast track or normal CIRP, the
Yes.
first meeting of COC will always be within 7 days of the filing of the report.
Yes, sir. So whether it is converted or not, so that will not invalidate the meeting.
Correct, because you're right. You're right. So
Sir?
either it is fast track or a normal CIRP. Understood. So it would be, IRP's responsibility is to convey the first meeting within the 7 days.
so that is all
Where
right.
I think where I was trying.
So that
Yes,
is
Majuma.
right. But IRP, okay.
In any case, the meeting of the COC should get convened in 7 days of the filing of the report. Okay, another interesting thing which I came across in fast track. So now I am in the fast track CRP regulation number 25, and this is voting by the committee. So if you look at sub-regulation 4, so I'm referring to 25 sub-regulation 4. It says the resolution professional shall circulate the minutes of the meeting by electronic means to all the members of the committee within 48 hours of the conclusion of the meeting. Next point said, seek a vote on the matters listed for the voting in the meeting from the members of the committee who did not participate in the meeting or did not vote at the meeting, if any, by electronic means or electronic voting system, where the voting shall be kept open for 24 hours from the circulation of the minutes. So basically, what it is trying to say is that if once the meeting has completed, the resolution professional will keep the option to vote on the agenda points for all the members who were not part of the meeting, which means they will have at least another 24 hours to vote. And after those 24 hours, the electronic voting portal will be blocked. And then 48 hours after the meeting is completed, then the resolution professional will circulate the minutes. So the point which I found it very interesting is that even if a COC member does not attend a meeting, he or she will have an option to vote on the agenda points within next 24 hours after the meeting was done. Anybody has any other views on this?
Is the matter is same in the normal CIRP?
That I haven't checked, ma'am. I'll check that.
So it's normal CIRP regulation 25.
So regulation 25, sub-regulation 6. it reads like the authorized representative shall circulate the minutes of the meeting received under subsection 5 to creditors in a class and announce the voting window at least 24 hours before the window opens for, okay, this is for the authorized representatives.
This is in subsection 5. Clause number 5.
Which one? Clause number 5.
5.
Yeah, so it is the same for over here also. It says 5B, seek a vote of members who did not vote at the meeting on the matters listed for voting by electronic voting system in accordance with regulation 26, where the voting shall be kept open for at least 24 hours from the circulation of minutes.
ये 6 वाला बीच में कहाँ आया, इसका क्या मीनिंग हुआ?
6 वाला जो है मैम, मुझे जितना लग रहा है कि वो ऑथोराइज्ड रिप्रेजेंटेटिव के लिए है, because if a representative is when he is voting on behalf of the creditors, which means he needs to announce 24 hours before to the people who he is representing about the voting, so that they can tell them what they need to vote against or for. That is what they are trying to say.
Okay.
Yeah. So another, just one interesting fact which highlighting on fast track. So the cost of interim resolution professional, this is regulation number 32 of fast track CIRP. The first point it says is that applicant needs to fix the expenses incurred by the IRP. And if it is not fixed, then it's educating authority. And the applicant shall bear the expenses which shall be reimbursed by the committee to the extent it ratifies. So, and the amount of expense ratified by the committee shall be treated as fast track process cost. So if you read that together, it basically means that one is applicant needs to fix the expense of IRP. If not, then educating authority will do it. Once it is done, then if the applicant has bear the expenses, then COC will have to ratify the expenses, and accordingly applicant can get that as reimbursed. And ultimately, even if it has got reimbursed to the applicant, this cost, as much as ratified by the COC, shall be treated as a fast track process cost, which means eventually this cost will be recovered as a part of the resolution plan. Okay, now on fast track, now this is something which I couldn't understand, so I thought I'll share with the group. I'm referring to regulation number 34. It says the first word, registered valuer appointed under regulation 26 shall submit the registration professional an estimate of fair value and the liquidation value computed in accordance with internationally accepted valuation standards after physical verification of inventory and fixed assets. So where my question is, estimate of the fair value and the liquidation value. So can anyone explain what exactly is the difference between the fair value and the liquidation value? Liquidation value I understand, but why are these two together? Anybody? Any idea? Maybe I think we can just read it and come back. So I think that's all from my side. It's already 8:30.
Fair value is on the date of initiation of the corporate insolvency process.
Okay. But that would also apply to the liquidation value also, right?
Yes.
So why are there two things, fair value and the liquidation value? Does it mean that liquidation value would be different? Because ultimately, what is the fair value would be the liquidation value. That is what my understanding is.
It can be different. I have to see. I have read it somewhere.
Because whenever you are going to put a value in the resolution plan, if you give a different value as a fair value and a liquidation value, then I think it seems a little contradictory to me. Ultimately, when the resolution applicant has to provide a resolution plan, so which means they will have a choice to take on a fair value or a liquidation value, and then they can provide a resolution plan. I'm not sure about this. Maybe we can just reread and come back. I'll also try to explore this. Okay, so I think then that's all from
Somewhere
my
definition of liquidation value is given in normal CIRP. Somewhere.
Is it?
I think we can now discuss it in the group.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Prakash Kukreja ji. It was really wonderful
My
session.
pleasure, sir.
And definitely we'll discuss whatever is remaining in the WhatsApp group. As you all know, we are starting a new batch from 1st of September, and all of you are requested to give it adequate publicity so that we can get more participants. Our target is to get at least 40 new participants so that at least we can make a contribution of 1 lakh rupees in this September month. So let us see how much we can do. Today, one member already donated 11,000 rupees who has recently qualified. So people on their own also donate things, and it is all a good sign. We are helping a noble NGO, and we are all contributors to this noble cause. So thank you very much. Keep studying, keep
Thank you,
enjoying.
sir.
And very happy Krishna Janmashtami to all of you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.